Hey guys, Brian Hazard here to talk about the new Mage Knight expansion, Shades of Tezla. Mage Knight is my absolute, where should I be looking? Right there. Mage Knight is my absolute favorite game of all time. It is my only 10 that I've ever put on Board Game Geek. I play a lot. I don't play it as much as I'd like because it is huge. I've loved both of the past expansions, and much like the other expansions, there are some production value issues with Shades of Tezla. A lot of people have been talking about it on Board Game Geek. I did see a user that requested some sort of video to talk a little bit about those issues, so I thought I would put one up and let people see with my own little 2 cents thrown in. So this is the box right here that the expansion comes in. It's relatively small compared to the base game box. If you can see it right there, it's about roughly a fourth, maybe a third of the size overall of the original box. You can see my insert's gone because it's impossible to fit it back in once you've taken it out. The insert for this is similar to the one that came in the original game. Can I open it with one hand? Survey says yes, he does it. Okay. I have already unwrapped. So problem number one that people have had with this expansion is that when it came out of the box, the instruction manual is actually in the bottom of the box and doesn't technically fit. So when it comes out of the box, it came out pretty squishy. It was also pretty hard to get out of the box. That being said, once I pulled it out and flattened it a little bit, I'm convinced that I could shove this between a couple of heavy games or just stuff it in my Mage Knight box and it would probably be not so bad. There may be people who had worse experiences, but so far that was my biggest problem. No, that's a lie. My biggest problem with the rule book, if you can't tell here, let me see if I can get the focus on it. This is the smallest font ever. It's unbelievable how small the font is in this game. And I don't know if you can... My Galaxy is not behaving well here, but if you can kind of see this, it is just, it's itty-bitty. It's super, super tiny. It's just not focusing at all, is it? Maybe I can't focus in this mode. Anyways, take my word for it. I'm talking about micro font here. It is incredibly small, hard to read. See if I can get a better focus. Okay, slightly better focus. But you can see here, just based on like the size of my finger, this is super tiny print. I'm a 38-year-old guy with glasses, so it's almost too small for me to read. I can't read it in the morning. I get up, my eyes are blurry, I can't read it. So that's one downside. One of the largest complaints, and there's not a really great fix for this, is the concern about the size of the chits. Now if you see here, and this is expressly what somebody was asking for in a video, is that the chits from the expansion are notably different in size from what came in the base game. So this is a terrible video. YouTubers, do better than this. Be better than me. So yeah, you'll see here, this is a Shades of Tezla chit. This is original game chit, and if you look, they are different. Different enough that if you put them in a stack, you will be able to tell the difference. So for example, if I were to take this base game and this base game and put them all together in a stack and hold them like this and do that. I'm so left-handed. I can do this. Okay, so there you go. You get an idea of how different it is. Hold my finger loose and that one will fall out. Now, is that cool? No, that is not cool. Is it a deal breaker for me? It is not a deal breaker for me. I don't like it, and I'm not going to be able to stack them the way that I used to, but I've been looking, once this happens, I'm going to have to get rid of my Plano and go to bags anyways, so this is an opportunity to do that. Somebody pointed out that games like Eldritch Horror and Arkham Horror have monster cups anyways, so there's not much difference there between this and that. So that is problem number two. Also, you'll notice that there is a color variance in the chits. So if you are one to notice, you would probably be able to tell the difference between them on the board. Now, again, not a big deal to me. To some people, it is a big deal. It is a huge deal. They don't want to be able to tell the difference between these chits, and for them, that may be a deal breaker. Clearly, it's not a deal breaker for me. I was thinking earlier, are these problems unreasonable? I would argue they're not unreasonable, or unacceptable, I should say. They're not unacceptable, clearly, because I bought the game, so I accept them. I may not love them, but I accept them. So, and again, with the Draconum, you can see smaller chit, slightly different size. Now, the other difference that I'm not as concerned about as the others is the difference in the cards. A couple of things people have pointed out. They've pointed out that the cards are slightly different colors. They're faded. This is the Bravelar deck right here. This is the Goldix. We like to call Goldix Crystal Crazy, aka C-Dubs. So that's the C-Dubs deck right there. And you can see that the C-Dubs deck is a little darker, a little richer in color. You'll see that this one is a little more faded. I can't even see where I'm looking. This one's a little more faded. So there's that difference. A lot of talk about the difference in card stock. So I'm going to do my best to sort of illustrate that. This is the base game card right there. And then this is the Tezla game there. If you can hear that, can you actually hear that? So there is a difference in stock. This is a little thinner. Also, and more importantly, some might argue, it's also a little bigger. So if you were to mix these in just as is, it would be notable in your deck that the advanced actions that you pull out of the regular game and put in your Bravelar deck are going to be notably smaller. You would be able to tell. So if you're not someone who sleeves their games, that is exceptionally problematic. But let me show you what they look like with sleeves on. Pause. And we're back. Technical difficulties. I did not mean to turn that off all the way. So these are the same two cards sleeved. You can see this is Bravelar sleeved. This is Goldix sleeved. The reason I wanted to show you that is because once they're in the sleeve and you get them into a deck, and I'm going to try to illustrate this by putting Bravelar into Goldix's deck here. Once you get the cards in the deck in a sleeve, they are totally unnoticeable. So this is an upside to people who now I don't even know where it went. This is an upside for people who are sleeving their games anyways. I always thought that Mage Knight was just a little bit on the thin side with the cards, and I knew I was going to play the crap out of it, so I sleeved them to begin with. So that being said, the issue of the size and the stock of the card, I think, are largely addressed by putting them into sleeves. So if that works for you, that's excellent. The color difference in cards, I know that people have mentioned that the backs are also a little bit different. This is the Bravelar, this is the other one. I think you can tell that there's a little bit of difference there. Now, I admit I'm a little color deficient, so it doesn't make that a good reason why it doesn't bother me, but that's the reality of it. It's not that big a deal to me because I can't really tell the difference. So the reason I'm posting this video is to fulfill the request of someone who is asking what are the differences in the two types. But the other piece I want to say is, yes, these are differences that are no good. Yes, they should have better quality control standards than this, but it is WizKids, and I don't think that it's going to get better. I think that it is an unrealistic expectation to think that they're going to do something for us to make these games better. So for that reason, I decided to pick it up. I love Mage Knight. I absolutely adore this game. I like what they've done with the game, although the components that we've talked about aren't great. The rest of the components are fine for what they are. The skills are good. The new tokens that represent the relics or artifacts or whatever they call them for killing the new faction tokens are good. The graveyards are a neat idea that had caused there to be darkness conditions even during the day if you approach them. And Bravelar himself. Oh, I totally forgot. One other thing. Come here, dude. So the other thing is Bravelar himself. Some people have said that they don't like the mini. I really doubt that this camera will let me get a good view of this. Yeah, not likely. It wants to. It wants to. Anyways, I don't have a problem with him. His sword's a little bent. That's not surprising. The biggest issue for me was that this base came right off. When I took him out of the box, the base was not attached well at all. I dabbed a little glue on there. He is never coming off again, so he's in good shape now. So yeah, there are some issues. It can be frustrating, but I love the game, and I'm going to probably forgive it a lot more than some people just because I want to be able to play it so much. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that gave you an idea of some of the differences. Oh, by the way, these sleeves are Fantasy Flight Game card sleeves, blue packs, like standard American size, the same card size you would use with Magic. So yeah, if you wanted to use these sleeves, they are a bit oversized, which I actually like doing. Especially in this case, because it will, compensate for the difference in the size of the cards. So, Thanks. Post any comments, and I'll see you guys on the Geek. Bye.